Under this moon, something ancient stirs. A gateway opens, not for release, not for gentle reflection, but for manifestation. And not the kind that arrives softly or waits for your permission. The full moon on July 10th does not ask you to let go. It invites you to want, to wish, to name your longing out loud. But it comes with a price. This isn't a moon that cleanses, it's a moon that rearranges. You may believe you are ready for your dream, but this energy does not grant wishes like a gift. It clears the path by force. If something in your life stands in the way of what you desire, it will be moved. A job, a relationship, an identity you've outgrown, it will go, not because you failed, but because you asked for more. This is the catch. We're not talking about magic that comforts. We're talking about alignment that disrupts. You must understand what you're calling in, because once you do, everything that contradicts it will begin to unravel. Not slowly, not kindly, but with precision. So, if you feel the air growing heavier, if the truth begins to rise in your throat, if your world starts shaking without warning, don't resist it. You didn't summon peace. You summoned truth. And now, the shift begins. But before you lean in, you must be warned. This full moon, as generous as it seems, carries with it 3 shadows. And if you're not grounded, they will pull you under. These are not obstacles you can see clearly with the mind. They move through feeling, through instinct, through the subtle current underneath appearances. And the first shadow comes wrapped in gold. Not every offer that shows up now is real. In the days surrounding this moon, you may be presented with something that looks exactly like the breakthrough you've been waiting for. A job offer, a love confession, an unexpected invitation that seems too perfect, too timely, too on point to ignore. But look again. Some doors are not openings, they are tests. This moon will dangle mirrors in front of you, reflecting your deepest hunger, your impatience, your need for resolution. And if you mistake the noise for alignment, you may say yes too soon to something that was never truly meant for you. That's how the trap is set, not with danger, but with desire. So ask yourself, not does this look right, but does this feel right? Your body knows what your fear refuses to admit. Don't rush. Don't grab what glows. Real alignment doesn't scream. It settles quietly in your gut. The second shadow is more difficult because it feels like loss. When you make a wish under this kind of moon, the universe doesn't politely deliver it. It clears the space around it, violently if it must. You may find yourself wondering why everything suddenly feels unstable, why the person you leaned on is pulling away, why your job feels suffocating, why something you once loved now feels hollow. It is not punishment. It is preparation. This moon doesn't grant your wish by adding, it grants it by removing everything that contradicts it. This is why some people panic. They think they're being torn apart when in truth the dream is arriving, and the price is the life you once settled for. You asked for alignment. This is what it looks like. A tearing, a breaking, a quiet undoing of the false to make space for the real. And if you can surrender in that space, if you can let the collapse unfold without trying to hold it all together, something extraordinary will emerge. And finally, the most overlooked danger, your own emotion. This moon doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your frequency. For 3 days, reality listens less to logic and more to vibration. Whatever you feel most strongly, whether it's love or fear, trust or anxiety, that will become the blueprint for what shows up. The risk is not in what you say, but in what you carry in your body when you say it. This is not a time to fake peace or pretend gratitude. It is a time to clear out the noise, to get honest, to regulate your inner world so that your signal is sharp. Feelings you haven't dealt with will rise now. Let them. Don't run. Sit with them, move through them, but don't speak your future from a place of chaos. The moon is listening, and it will echo back what you feel, not what you hope. So these are the risks. illusions dressed as answers, collapse disguised as progress, and emotion made into form. The moon is opening a rare portal, and the next move is not about perfection, it's about presence. Stay close to your inner truth, because everything that follows will be built on that. And if you can stay centered through the unraveling, if you can resist the glittering traps, allow the breakdown, and steady your frequency through the emotional storm, then this full moon opens into something far more powerful than a wish granted. It becomes a force of precision, targeting not random dreams, but those desires that are rooted in truth, in purpose, in alignment with the soul's deeper current. This moon does not amplify just anything. It chooses, and what it chooses falls into 3 distinct realms, each carrying the weight of transformation that doesn't fade. The first is karmic justice. If you have endured a cycle of imbalance, situations where you gave more than you received, where your truth was silenced, where your efforts were unseen, this moon is the great equalizer. It moves with the energy of reckoning. Power that was taken will be returned. Loops that have long overstayed their welcome will snap closed. If you've been waiting for closure, for clarity, for long overdue fairness, this is when the scales begin to tilt. But remember, karmic correction doesn't always arrive with softness. Sometimes it looks like someone else's downfall. Sometimes it comes as a truth so sharp it cuts clean through your denial. And yet through that, a strange peace emerges. Not because everything is perfect, but because the distortion is finally gone. That which has been held in limbo is released. That which was hidden is exposed. The full moon doesn't seek revenge. It restores the sacred balance. The second realm is recognition and rise. This moon carries momentum for those who have been quietly building, laying foundations, doing the work without applause. If you've been asking to be seen, not just noticed, but truly recognized, this energy lifts you into visibility. It favors those who are no longer hiding their voice, who are ready to take up space without shrinking. This could look like a long overdue promotion, a creative breakthrough, a shift in your platform, reputation, or audience. The light you've been trying to dim will be pulled forward now, not for ego, but for impact. You must be willing to stand in it, to say, yes, this is mine. I'm ready to hold what I once thought I couldn't. This moon won't grant success for show. It amplifies your signal only if your signal is honest, if you've done the inner work, if your ambition comes from soul and not scarcity. This moment will not pass you by. And lastly, perhaps most quietly but most powerfully, this full moon strengthens anything rooted in long-term construction. It blesses the slow burn, the seeds planted in patience. This is not about instant gratification. It's about what will last. If you're building something that takes time, a relationship grounded in truth, a home filled with intention, a mission, a creative path, a new life direction that doesn't yet have shape but carries meaning, this moon holds it steady. It offers support not to those chasing the spark, but to those honoring the fire that burns slow and true. If you've been showing up consistently, even when results felt far away, your work is being witnessed, not just by others, but by the universe itself. And this moon responds. So ask yourself now, not what do you want fast, but what are you willing to grow, to hold, to nurture with care? Because the full moon on July 10 is not interested in fantasy. It responds to foundation. And if you've been laying yours brick by brick, it's time. The energy is moving, the shift is coming, and what rises next will be yours to carry. Not as a gift, but as a responsibility. Choose wisely. And yet, amidst all the intensity, if you've been walking closely with your inner truth, you may have already begun to sense the alignment taking shape. The signs don't always announce themselves with clarity. They move through subtle threads, through sudden shifts in your inner world, through symbols that repeat until they are impossible to ignore. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. This moon does not arrive all at once. It begins tuning into you before you're even aware. echoing through your emotions, your senses, your daily life. One of the first signs you are synchronizing with this energy is emotional eruption. Feelings long buried may rise without warning, an unexpected grief, a wave of rage, a tightness in your chest every time someone speaks your name in the wrong tone. You may feel the urge to finally say what you've been holding in for years, not because the timing seems right, but because your body cannot contain the weight anymore. This is not weakness. It is alignment. The energy is clearing space inside you, and what wants to come through now is truth, raw, unedited, unfiltered. If you find yourself mentally rehearsing conversations, reliving arguments, or whispering the words you never said under your breath, pay attention. That moment is coming, the one where you will finally say it out loud. And when it comes, it will not wait for perfection. It will demand presence. Speak, even if your voice shakes, especially if it does. You may also begin to notice a number, a single, ordinary, almost forgettable number, repeating itself again and again. It won't be the trendy angel codes you see online. It will be something personal. A number from your childhood, a room you once lived in, a figure that stirs an old memory. You'll see it on receipts, clocks, phone screens, license plates. At first, it will seem like nothing, but then it will appear again and again. And by the time you see it for the 6th or 7th time, you'll know this is not random. This is tracking. That number is not just a sign. It is a marker, a frequency tag from the universe, tied to your wish, assigned to your timeline, surfacing now to remind you. You are being found. You are being followed by your own future. Then come the dreams, the strange ones, the vivid ones, the ones that feel too real to dismiss and too symbolic to decode. You may wake up feeling like something has been rearranged in your sleep, or perhaps you'll begin to hear certain words repeated in conversations, in songs, in passing, a phrase that keeps showing up, a name from the past, a place that tugs at your memory. These are not distractions, they are the map. This moon speaks in pattern, not logic. And when those patterns show up, it means the timeline is opening. You are no longer moving blindly. You are being guided. But the most powerful signal of all is the one that comes just once. That single moment, that conversation, that sentence you've carried in your chest for too long. And when the window opens, you will feel it, like the air has paused, like the ground beneath you is holding its breath. It could be a phone call with someone you've avoided, a long drive with silence between you, a casual question that suddenly hits too close. It might come while you're standing in front of a mirror, facing the version of you you've been running from. Whatever it is, you will know. This is the moment. The one you do not get twice. And here's the truth, if you don't speak, the energy will stay lodged inside. The pressure won't leave, it will grow. This is not a warning meant to scare you, it's a promise. What you silence now will echo louder later. But if you dare to speak, whether the words are messy, angry, trembling, or quiet, they will become the key, not just to release, but to rewrite the next chapter of your life. Because words carry spells. And during this moon, one sentence spoken with truth can shift timelines. Don't miss that moment. It could be the only one you'll need. The full moon is not the destination. It's the ignition, the starting pulse that cracks open the stillness and sets something massive into motion. What you feel on the surface, the light, the reflection, the brief surge of clarity, is only the first tremor. The real energy comes after. It builds slowly, silently, like a wave gathering in the distance. And if you are tuned in, if your spirit is even slightly awake, you will feel it pressing against your skin, a strange heaviness in the air, time moving differently, repeating signs that seem to follow you wherever you go. These are not accidents, they are signals. The shift has already begun, and what's coming next isn't random. It knows exactly who you are. It has your name carved into its arrival. So stay open, stay alert. The light of the moon fades, but the current it activated is still rippling through your life, and somewhere in that movement is the moment that changes everything.